laugh 150 times a day. This kind of blows my mind because there's only 24 hours in a day. But when we become adults, we only laugh 12 times. I want you all to look to your neighbor. Turn around, look at each other in the eye, and smile. Now you have to play along. It's not going to work if you don't play along. Smile, a big, goofy grin, like up to your ears, right? It's hard to not laugh and giggle. And that's where we get that idea that laughter is contagious. Now, do you know that if you participated in that, you actually started to release really good, feel-good dopamines into your body? Dopamine is what makes us happy, and when we have low dopamine, that's when we become sad and depressed. And here's the best part. Even if you faked it and you smiled, you still got the same result. Crazy, huh? So it's curious to me, if we know that laughing does all this great stuff, even fake laughing, like if you have Botox and you can't frown, you're less depressed. No, really, my medicine shows that. So if we know this, then how come when we're facing moments of like really chaotic chaos, we don't respond by laughing? Now I get it, it's kind of an offensive idea, right? Like you don't go to a funeral and crack a joke. You don't have somebody say to you, I just found out I have cancer, and throw a party. Or do you? Could there be value in responding with fun and laughter? If you go into the US Medicine Library and you just search laughter, there's over 2,200 medical studies. It turns out that doctors have been using humor going all the way back to the 13th century. They did it to distract patients from pain. And they have done study after study that shows that laughing does everything from increasing our blood flow. It builds our immune system. It actually builds the killer cells that fight infection. It relaxes our muscles. It builds our pain tolerance. You might actually live longer simply because you have a better sense of humor. They did a study where cancer patients live longer with a higher sense of humor, right? So if we know this, if we know all of this evidence, then it's interesting to me that when a family gets the worst, most chaotic diagnosis they could possibly ever get, one of childhood cancer, our response is exactly the opposite. See, that's the diagnosis that I was given. My daughter was 3.5 years old and she was diagnosed with a stage 4 high-risk neuroblastoma. And I was told by the chaplain at the major children's hospital that we were at that most children, when they're given this diagnosis, these families become very somber and very serious and very dark, and the laughing and the giggles stop because this is the big C. And I chose something very opposite. I chose to have fun and laugh because that's just how I coped. So what does that mean? Okay, so we did lots of silly things, but probably the one that has become the most famous now is known as the tumor stomping party. So if you've never seen a tumor, it's gross. I had it blown up into a giant poster, and we threw a party with music and cupcakes and party favors, and then we shot the sucker with marshmallows. I wanted my daughter to laugh through a bone marrow transplant. I wanted her to giggle through weeks and weeks of radiation, and I wanted her to have a party in the intensive care unit. I just didn't know I was producing all of these really good side effects. See, it was just the way that I coped in the chaos of childhood cancer. See, laughter is really primitive. Do you know that it's actually something we share with the great apes? Everybody throughout history and every culture has laughed. Right? Crazy, huh? Even babies will laugh, and babies that are born blind and deaf still laugh. So it's curious to me, if something is so primal to us, then why have we as a culture, has laughter become socially and culturally unacceptable? Cancer does not even laugh at. But is that really what's best for our bodies and our minds and our children? Because we have this body of medical evidence that seems to be saying no. I mean, think about it. What are your other choices, right? Worry, fear, anxiety, pain. Do you know what that does to your body? It does everything from disrupting your endocrine system to your nervous system to your adrenal glands. I mean, really serious stuff. You know, we're very quick when people are facing moments of chaos to say, gratitude, mindfulness, these are appropriate coping skills. And I think those things are great, right? I'm just saying, why can't we throw in some giggles and laughter in there too? that fun and laughter are appropriate and potentially necessary skills that we all need to develop as a coping skill in moments of chaos. And what would happen? I mean, think what would happen in the world of childhood cancer if we embraced that concept on a really big scale and aided these kids building their pain tolerance. And I'm not going to say having fun is going to cure cancer. I am very grateful to science. I now have a very feisty 7th grader. But knowing what I know now, I want to pull out every trick in the book and give it the very best shot. There's no side effects, there's no late effects, there's no adverse reactions, and with rising medical costs, laughter is free. Find a reason to giggle on your way home.